So it was maybe August of last year, just a normal summer day, a day my friends and I were taking another trip to the Cape. Tom picked me up after work that afternoon, and we started that too familiar drive, just passing the time talking and laughing and enjoying each other's company. Just about an hour before we got to the beach house, Nikki started texting us these stupid jokes straight out of a book, but rather than respond with the usual, haha, I don't know, or something like that, we spent an absurd amount of time wrestling with his BlackBerry to look up the answers, just because we were too stubborn to let her win. At the time, the day was nothing out of the ordinary, just another day I spent laughing with one of my best friends. But looking back, I realized that for that reason alone, I admire Tom the most. I never before saw Tom as a hero. He was never an inspiration. He was always just Tom, there making me laugh and there to talk when I needed him to be. Tom was genuine. He was real. He was everything you'd expect from a best friend. And though I see it now, though we all see it now, I don't remember Tom's courage because he was strong enough to put that aside and simply show us all to live in the moment. I miss those moments. I miss Tom's smile, his laugh, the sound of his voice as we screamed the lyrics of those classic love songs at prom, and that serious face he made when he was trying to look intimidating. It is these moments I will carry with me forever, but it is Tom's courage, that courage he made sure we never recognize, that has changed who I am as a person. So though he's gone, Tom will be part of me forever, forever someone who meant the world to me, forever a best friend, and forever someone I love.
I can't believe it was only a year ago when Tom first told me he had brain cancer. At first, nothing registered in my head because it didn't seem real. I told myself that I would eventually have to accept the truth and figure out what to do with that reality. But the reality was that Tom wasn't going to let cancer break his spirit or change who he was. Timmy, Jack, and I were stoked when Tom told us he had tickets to the Red Sox for opening day. Before the game, we had to bring Tom to the hospital for treatment. We waited in the lobby for him, and when he came out, he was just as happy as he was before. It was this reassuring smile that kept us all strong. His bravery throughout this whole journey has truly astounded me, and I want to thank him for sharing his life with me, for the love he gave, and the friendship he bestowed in me and in all of us.
With the loss of a great friend and so few hours gone by, it's hard to try and gather words that could somehow manage to inspire or heal. As I look back on all my memories with Tom, most of them bring me to tears of laughter and consequently to tears of grief. However, when I last saw Tom, I was struck with a feeling that is hard to shake from my bones. Somehow, though his skin was a mere shell over his once able body, and his face bore no expression of a personality that was once vibrant, there was an essence of Tom that remained. As I looked into Tom's eyes, I've never seen a truer form of life than the naked human spirit looking back at me. And so purely did it show, now that the barriers of a physical body had been broken down. It gave me comfort, though I'm nowhere near content, to know that hidden deep down within the human body is a power strong enough to shine brightly, even in the wake of death. Tom didn't need to stand up and speak in order to show the true essence of himself, for it remained the prevailing force. To know that this presence exists brings me, and I hope all who hear this, solitude in the faith that there is a place for this energy that lives within him and in us all. How impossible it would be to believe that this energy, one that transcends the dying physical body, is not greater than this mortal world which took Tom away from all of us.
When Tom first told me about his cancer, it was one of the last things that I expected to hear. And I figured that things were going to be different with Tom's new diagnosis, but they never were. Throughout the entire spring, summer, and most of fall, he was the same old Tom. He would go through his treatment, but he would always come have a good time with us afterwards. And even though cancer took the hair on his head, he still found a way to pull off the look, and he always looked good. It got to a point over the summer where it was as if he didn't even have cancer, and because of that, we all had the best summer of our lives. He is such an inspiration to me. Fighting a battle as hard as cancer and never complaining and always having a smile and a great time just goes to show what kind of person he was. Tom always had the best attitude. Whether we were playing volleyball, going to Red Sox games, or having a hobo Halloween, or even just hanging out, I have so many incredible memories with Tom. He will forever be one of my best friends, and he will stay with me forever. I love you, Tom.
I had this crazy dream last night. I'm sitting in bed, sick with a fever. And the worst part is, I can't move at all. I'm completely helpless. And then Tom comes in and he gives me medicine, and finally I can get up and move around. This dream confused me at first. He was the one who needed to be taken care of, not me. But I've been thinking about it, and I realized that Tom really was taking care of me this entire time. He was taking care of all of us. Tom was the one who kept us strong because he was so strong through it all. I wanted to end this with a piece of a letter that I had sent him a few weeks before he died. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. I could say it 10,000 times and it wouldn't be enough. And frankly, I'm not sure what would be enough. All I know is that everything you are is everything I aspire to be. And I hope that through knowing you, I can somehow manage to gather a fraction of the strength that you have, and to be half the person that you are. Thank you for being my best friend. I loved you yesterday. I love you today, and I will love you forever.
I need a laptop, DVD player, Xbox, a new TV, and I'm broke. But you can trust me with your money. Tom Weaver for treasure. I still smile remembering Tom's campaign flyers. You could always count on him for his wit and humor. Tom and I first became friends in 5th grade. Our friendship just clicked. It's surreal to think that one minute we were all laughing, having the greatest time of our lives, and the next we're mourning the death of a best friend. Tom carried us through this experience. His bravery lifted us all above the menace. His confidence, strong will, and humor prepared him for the battle of cancer. He showed me how important every moment is. I often catch myself complaining, and then I stop and think about Tom, refusing all pity whatsoever. Tom has proved to me that even in the harshest times, there is a light. He went through the toughest experience any student could possibly go through without any complaints. Every day, I will strive to continue the legacy of Tom Weaver, and in that way, he will never be forgotten. I will love him forever and always. I love you, Tom.
Tom is one of the best friends I've ever had, and I ever will have. He was a genuine person who could light up any conversation. There's always going to be a huge part of my life missing because he's gone. Tom was that friend who I talked to every day, even if it was about something completely stupid. He was that friend who I texted every Friday and Saturday night to say, "So what are we doing tonight?" Because no matter where we were going to go or who else we were going to be with, it was just a given that we would be doing it together. When Tom first told me about his diagnosis about a year ago, I knew that a lot was going to change quickly. But what I didn't expect was how little things actually did change. Throughout all of last spring and summer, Tom was the same old Tom, and we treated him like the same old Tom. I'm so happy I was able to enjoy one last summer of happiness with him,
and I will always look back to those times as a true inspiration. The bravery and strength Tom showed us by simply being his normal self will impact me for the rest of my life. The many memories I've made with him through all my years of high school will live in my heart forever. I love you, Tom. I miss you. Rest in peace, man.